Hi there, welcome to my bench. My name is Ken, and this is Terminator Tuesday. Welcome back to my build of the Agora T800. So again, as before, I'll be following along with Todd, aka Marvel Phoenix, with my Terminator T800 website for this build. Now, when this came as a stage 2, these are the parts you would receive. We're not going to be using all these parts. In fact, we won't even be using these teeth that come with the kit. What I have instead are the ones here from Model Mods. That's www.modelmods.com, and we have these replacement teeth here. So these are the ones we'll be using instead. So we're going to move on, and we'll begin with doing our upper jaw right here. So let's clear out the rest of these parts. We'll get our teeth and we'll get going. So in this stage here, I've actually removed the faceplate area. I just kind of had it in place just to see how it looked. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take our our top jaw, and we're going to connect it to our faceplate here. So I'm just going to see how this fits in there. So there we go. So we have, actually fits snug without screws. So we have a point here where the one part is recessed, and then we have the other two screw holes. And now if you look here on the top jaw part, you can see this part here protrudes, and this is where it's going to fit into that recessed part, and there's our other two holes for our screw holes. So we'll take that, insert it in place. Oh, now it no longer wants to stay there on its own, but that's okay. That's what the screws are for. So now we're going to take this, flip this over, and we're going to use our screws just like this. So we're going to use the PB 2x6mm, which are the longer ones. These are the pan head screws. So we just need 2 of them. And they are going to go on the outsides. Just like that. Make sure I'm not cross-threading. Okay, and take our other screw. Let's kind of go backwards first just to see where our point is. And there we go. We'll screw this one in. You know, I think I'll switch screwdrivers here. Let's see if a larger screwdriver works with these screws. That's better. So I'm using my Phillips head 0 as opposed to 00. So there we go, nice and snug. And we have something that looks like that. All right, next we're going to install our 2 screws here. We need the countersunk screws, which are the flat top ones, not the rounded. So we'll take 2 of those. Now, they do, I haven't mentioned this, but they do usually give you extra screws, at least one. So every time I need 2 screws, there's usually 3 in the bag. And that's great for in case you lose one. So we'll take our flat or pan head screws here. And we'll install them. Again, everything I'm doing here is all plastic into plastic. Now if you're doing plastic into metal, they do recommend on Todd's website that you use like a 3-in-1 oil, which I'll be doing. So again, we'll take our next screw, like that. Insert that. So it's nice and snug. There we go. So that's these 2 screws into place. All right, so our next step here is going to be inserting the teeth. So we'll take out the teeth for the top jaw. Again, this is from Model Mods. There we go. So here we have our top teeth, and they're just going to go inside this groove right here. And we're just going to install them with a little bit of CA glue. All right, carrying on here, I have my glue ready. So I'll just take some of our CA glue and I'll just use it in here. Much like someone with dentures might use a bonding substance. Just like that. Yeah, so the original kit teeth did come in pieces. You'd kind of have to piece the teeth together. But with these, much nicer. And we just put them in place like that. Oops. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Those are the correct teeth. So there we have it, teeth in place, and we're going to carry on. So there we have our faceplate kind of pushed back in place again, just temporarily here for just to show you how the teeth look. I think they'll look really good. And again, with that menacing set of eyes. All right, so we're going to carry on. The next step has us starting the right arm components. So we have this part here and this part here. And what we need to do is connect these 2 parts. So you can see we have our 2 screw holes, and they're going to match up here. And we need to line up yeah, so we need to line up this groove here with the groove on this side. There's no groove on this side. There's no groove on that side. So we will do that just like that. And then we're just going to take our remaining screws here and we're going to screw that into place. For this one, I'll be going back to my PH0 again. So the smaller screwdriver. And again, we're just snugging them into place. There we go, just like that. So we have our right arm component B and right arm component C put together. And we made our alignment, which is very crucial to have that like that and not backwards. So I did make a bit of an error here. I used the wrong screws in the wrong place. So what it should be more of these regular screws here with the rounded head should be going back here to secure the jaw to the faceplate, and like that. Now normally they have the screw bags labeled. Unfortunately in this kit, when it's been re-released here by Agora, they are no longer labeled. So you just kind of gotta make do with descriptions of screws. So we'll go back to our I believe they're pan head screws where they're flat on top, and we'll use them to work on the shoulder joint. Fits in there nice and flat now. There we go. We have our screws in there nice and flat. So there we have it. That's our parts done up. I just like putting this faceplate back on just because I like seeing those eyes coming out of there. So we have that with our teeth on it now. We have our shoulder joint. We still have this part here they would have received in this pack with the original Hachette K build. All right, we're going to continue on with issue 3 here, which is going to be components for the right arm and our first finger. As well, we'll also be using our AAA battery box and our LED test circuit. So the first thing we're going to need are these parts here, and one of these longer screws here. Just like that. Again, they give you extras, which is nice that they do that. So what we're going to do is attach our cap on this end. Thanks, Todd. Yep, we do that. And then this part's going to go through here, like that. And then we're going to take our screw and our screwdriver. And we are going to insert it down into the hole. Now, actually might be easiest for me is, there we go. Just do that. And just snug it up. And there's our first part. So that was a step 2, or step 1. Step 2 was to screw it together. So the next thing we're going to need is our battery box. All right, so this next part requires that we have our battery box and some batteries. So what we'll do is we will open the box and insert our batteries. Now in the end, the upside will be that we will be using the Model Mods Terminator Power mod, so we won't need to actually use batteries. But for right now, this is what we're going to need to test our circuits. For example, making sure that our eyes are working. So let's put this back together here. And a little bit of a trivia here. James Cameron thought of the Terminator after having a nightmare. So just something to think about. All right, so we're going to take our test circuit here. And you can see this side here says power. So that's where we're going to hook up our power. Just like this. One way. So there we go. We have our test circuit done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our face here. And we're going to take our eyes and we're going to test our eyes out. So we are looking there. And here, we should be able to insert each one of these. And there we have our first eye. Look at that. Those eyes are amazing. So let's pull this one out. And let's try out our second eye. I'm not going to plug it in too hard, but there we have it. The eyes have it. Oh, I didn't plug it in all the way, but just enough to test it. I don't want to wear out the connectors, but there we go. Our eyes are working, so that's great, great news. So now we can carry on. After we've done that, we're going to start working on our index fingers, or our index finger. All right, for our fingers, we also have this Terminator joint finger box set from modelmods.com. So it has these better, I guess, connectors that are going to bite in more and be able to hold the fingers in certain poses more so than the original fingers can. So we'll put that box aside here. We'll get our finger joints, or finger bones, and there we have it. All right, so we have, and we need out of here. So here's what they originally give you, is these plastic sleeves, which kind of fit the purpose, I guess, but not, apparently they don't do as well. So we will, and here we have obviously enough for all the fingers, all 10 fingers, as opposed to in this pack only enough for one. So we're going to need these parts here, kind of going by what Todd shows us. I'm kind of going with the order of parts. So like that, and like that. And then we have these parts here, like this. And originally was with these little connectors here, which would screw in from the other side. Now we have these parts here from Model Mods. Let's check these out. Thankfully they come in these nice Ziploc bags. Now I don't think they give you extra parts for the Model Mods part. See, these go through here? No. So the Model Mods parts, I'm going to assume, completely replace these parts. So we have for the 3 joints, and then we have 3 screws, and they also give us washers. All right, so when checking my instructions, what we're going to do here is we are actually going to take our joint here, and we're going to put a little CA glue in there, is what they recommend. So we'll do that. Take one of our screws or bolts or whatever, and we're using our Allen key here that they provided, and we just screw that in place like that. And then we're going to take our finger joint. So I'm going to just make sure that I have it the right way, like that. And then what they recommend is two of these washers in between, like that. And then, yep, and then we just knock them out of the way, like that. All right, so we got 2 washers. We can take our finger mod there, like that. And now on this side here, we're going to take a little CA glue again and just put it in on the threads here again, just to get the bolt to hold in there. You know, I don't know how well this is going to catch with the 2 in there. Yeah, I don't think it's catching. Let's just try it with 1 on these fingers. Let's see how well that works. Like that. Like that. And let's see if that'll catch. There we go. And there we have our first finger joint done, just like that. And then once the CA glue dries up, we'll have a permanently have these nuts in place. So again, on the next step, we're going to do much the same again. So we're going to take our next joint again, CA glue it, like that. There we have it. Oh, spoke too soon. All right, there we go. So again, put this in here. I'll put our CA glue in first, I think, this time. Not too much. We don't want it weeping out and causing issues with the joint itself. So again, we'll take our washers. Now, again, it said 2, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't really like the way the 2 goes. I don't know that it's catching on very well. Yeah, I'm going to stick with 1. So your mileage may vary. You may be able to do this with 2? I do not know. All right. There we go. Snug that in place. And there we have our next joint. Just make sure that's still snug. Yep. So these will be able to be posed really well, especially when he's holding his weapon. So we'll be able to pose his fingers much better. So the last one we have to do is just this part here. So we have it laid out like this. And then we're going to take this part here, the part here to the bottom. It'll go like that. So we'll take again our joint piece and insert some CA. Take our nut, our hex nut or whatever, and insert it in place and tighten it down. There we go. Now taking again our washer. Again, I'm just going to use one. Put some CA glue into the other end here. And have it like what Todd showed us. Thank you again, Todd, for your terrific directions. Now, I didn't notice Todd having these directions linked to this page. I don't know if he did the finger mod. He may not have. I actually went to the Model Mods website itself and followed it along there. Also, this one here, this might be thicker. It does not want to catch on. So, let's try it without the washer in that position. Like that. And like that. Yeah, see, it's catching there pretty well. I don't know why it won't catch with at least one washer. I figure it should be able to catch. Maybe I just had it lined up wrong. It could be. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can still fit one washer in there. There we have it. So it looks like in the end I'm going to have some extra washers left over. So there we have it. We have a completed finger like that. I just want to make sure these are snugged down really well so that the nuts have their best opportunity to dry with the CA glue in place. All right, so there we have our finger completed. Still able to move, but also a little bit better. So that's what we've done this issue, was this and issue 3. So I don't need these here anymore. What we're going to do now is I'll get things ready and we'll carry on with issue 4. All right, welcome to issue 4. Here we are starting off again with another piston. We're working on our arm. So again, much like the other one, what we need to do is basically create another one of these pistons, like so. So what we're going to do is grab one of our screws. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to drop it in. There we go, went right through. Take my screwdriver, make sure I can get it on there perfect that time. 50% of the time, it works every time. All right, so here we go, and we'll just start screwing it in. Look at that, you think I'd done this before. just like that. So there we have another piston completed. So again, just took the cylinder and this other part, upper part here, dropped our screw in, and screwed it together. Simple. All right, this is step 4 now that we're actually at, because just putting this together is one step and then screwing it together is another step. But anyway, so here we have this part here. So this is right arm rod A, and we're going to attach a rubber washer to it. So it just drops down over the top of this little area here on the top. So just drop it on, and we'll take one of our screws here. And we will insert it. Just like that. Okay, I'll take my smaller screwdriver. And there we go. And that holds it nicely in place. Let's make sure. Yeah, I think that's snug enough. So there we have it. Todd says the more the screw is tightened, the more the washer expands. This will affect how the rod moves inside the cylinder and can be adjusted to suit your taste. He says also, however, the washer can pop off the screw head and get lodged in the cylinder, so make sure the screw is tight enough. So just make sure of that. Next, what we're going to do is take our newly formed cylinder here, and we're going to insert. So we'll take this and we'll just insert it in there. Just like that. Simple. However, I think I need to tighten down this screw a little bit more in here. Let's see if I can find my screw head in here. There we go. Just tighten that down just a little bit more. There we have it. Reinsert this, and you can see it has the power to kind of stay where you put it, which would be great for posing the arms. So there we have it, just like that. All right, so steps 6 and 7, I was doing much the same with the other piston. However, we have this part here instead. So what we'll do is we'll take our washer, and again, just put it on top, just like that. Appears it only goes the one way, apparently. So it looks like I lucked out the first time and it fit easily. So if you're doing this and it won't fit, then obviously you're going to need to flip over the washer and try it the other way, because I guess the other side of the opening is adjusted for the screw. So we'll take our screw, take our smaller screwdriver, and just, again, like Todd said, the tighter you tighten it, the more it expands. So there we have it. Make sure this is tight enough to my satisfaction. It is. And not very tight. Let's try that again. Yes, it did come loose because I didn't tighten it enough. So easy enough solution, just tighten it down more. There we have it. So it seems a little bit looser, I guess, with the rod and the hole, but the washer itself seems to be holding just fine in whatever location you put it in. So there we have it. That's our next step completed. All right, moving on to the right shoulder now. Steps 8 and 9 have us taking our shoulder assembly here, and these remaining parts in this stage. So just like that. You can see here now we no longer have anything left for this whole kit assembly that they provided me for the first month. So we'll take our shoulder assembly here, and all we really need to do here is just put them on the bottom here like this. So you can see the cutout side on one side to go around the what would you call it? The pin part? I guess the shaft part. Ooh, that is tight. But it didn't go flying off the table, it hit me. So let's try that again. Let me read the directions, see if Todd says anything. So he says they may be in fit loose for now, but will be tighter later on. So I guess they don't need to go on any further than that. So in his picture, it shows there being this gap here. So that is actually it. They probably won't hold on their own right now, but you just you have them there like that. So we'll move on to the next step. All right, step 10 here has us taking this part of the upper arm assembly and this cylinder here with the U-shaped clamp on it. So we're going to need these two parts as well as one of these screws with the long shank on it or whatever that's doesn't have any threading on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our piston here, and we're going to take our screw here and insert it through like that, and then take our piston and put it over top, just like that. Now what we're going to do next is take our other piston here, and we're going to take another one of these screws, and again just insert our screw and insert our piston. Oh. Maybe, there we go. All right, so there we have it, just like that. All right, for steps 14 and 15, we're going to install our shoulder. And according to Todd, he found that the taking these parts here and actually inserting them in here instead worked much better. So just like that. And then taking our shoulder piece, he set it in there like that, and then set this other one back up there like that. Then finally, we're going to come up with the other portion of our upper arm here. So there we have it. This is actually steps 16 and 17 now at this point. It's moving along quite quickly. So we got these together. So what we can do is we can take this part here, the outer, I guess this would be the outer part of the arm, and put it in there. And you can see it should line up with our screws that are coming through right here and over on this side. And as well, at the same time as you're screwing it down, it will tighten those plastic portions around this part of the arm. So let us force that through and get our screwdriver. And I'll just tighten it a little bit. And I'll move over to the other side, making sure that I can kind of bring it down more evenly with pressure as opposed to, overdoing it and doing one side more than the other. So now, just looking, there we go. So it was a little bit bound up a little bit here. I moved the shoulder a little bit, and it fell kind of in place a little better. So now what I can do here is, again, just keep tightening. That's better. And just take up the slack. Just like that. There we go. And we'll clamp it down a little bit better again to loosen our screws off again. And we'll just keep going ahead like that. There we go. So as I push it again, it forces on those plastic clamps to tighten our joint here, and it allows the screw to be tightened up a little bit more. So something to keep in mind if you're doing this build as well. So again, push it in, and then hopefully that loosens off our screw enough to get driven in there a little bit more. There we have it. All right, so there we have our 2 pistons in place, just like that, and that ends our issue 4. Now these can be later adjusted to have this at whatever angle you want. If we flip it around to this side here, you won't see the screw holes. They'll be nicely hidden, and then we can, as we need, adjust these in and out for our arm. So looking really good. All right, so thanks for coming along on the journey this week. We got quite a bit accomplished. We got a lot of the arm accomplished, and we got our first finger done, and we've tested our eyes now, and we know that they do work. So I invite you to come back next time and see what we can get completed and what parts we receive from Agora. So take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.